Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl, BD.
It's Four Ends the fiance.
And we are back.
We back.
Let me just do the disclaimer now because my laptop is breathing mad heavy. So if you hear, then that's just my laptop. So, yes. I want to say something else. What was it? Oh, housekeeping. So we have decided to change our upload day from Thursday to Sunday. Mm-hmm. So next Thursday you will not get an episode. Why? Because you're going to get it on Sunday instead. Okay, so it's going to be Sundays now. So that is the day that the Lord has made.
It's the day of rest. So rest and listen to us.
Right.
Okay, so today we're doing Unsolved Mysteries because this is the last of spooky season. If you did not sleep with your asses out, that is your own personal problem.
Here we go.
As for me and my house, that's what we did. And
As for me and my ass.
It was a very happy Halloween.
I'm so done. Did you go out for Halloween?
No.
If you did, what would you have gone as?
Rachel Dolezal. I've been gagging for it.
Right, yeah.
I'm thinking of throwing a Halloween party next year just so I can dress up
do that.
as. I really am thinking.
So basically,
of
just
doing
get a shit braided wig and you're good to go.
And I'll just have a name tag that says Rachel Dolezal.
What was her name? What's she changed her name to again?
Child.
It was some Igbo name.
Something girl bye. So guys, the documentary we're doing today is the Stolen Children or Stolen Kids.
Yeah, it's so funny that we say kids all willy-nilly now. Kids is literally like baby goats. But it's so normal to say kids now.
It's for baby goats.
Yeah, a kid is a baby goat.
No way.
It is, but we just say it now. Children is like baby humans.
Yeah, but children are basically baby goats, to be honest. They have the same unruly behaviours. So this documentary opens up in Harlem, New York. And New York is my second favourite city in the whole wide world. I absolutely love it. Surprisingly, it's London. I think London London at night is unmatched. It's just
for me, it's London in summer. London in summer is top tier. The vibes are great. The day parties, everyone's on a good vibe. You can dress nice. It's just a great time. Do you know what I mean?
I think I'm more of a winter babe. So I was born in summer. Well, spring, but I definitely
you were born in summer?
No, June is still spring.
Yeah.
Summer starts in July. Well, obviously some places say different, but summer actually starts in July.
Wow, in my head, June is June,
summer.
July, August is summer.
Yeah,
and then
that's
September,
what I think.
October, November is autumn.
September's actually still summer, I think. I think autumn starts in
the way global warming's going, yeah, sure is.
But I actually prefer winter, and I prefer right now this is my happiest time, the build up to Christmas. We were just in the kitchen downstairs talking about how we're gonna go to a Christmas market and you take your annual leave.
Yeah, I like winter because I like outerwear. I like coats. I love coats. I love boots. I love winter fashions. But then I also love how unrestrictive summer fashions is. You can literally wear whatever you want and not worry about a jacket. But winter, I love buying coats and being ooh, I don't really care what I'm gonna wear, but I'm gonna wear this. I plan my outfits around my coats.
Yeah, and then the turtlenecks, everything.
Yeah, and I love how the air just feels crisp, it feels clean. You go outside and it's you know?
It's fresh air, yeah.
But I don't like to be cold, that's the only thing. So, in conclusion.
So we're in Harlem, New York. It's 1989. And one of our talking heads, Harlem resident, says New York was really bad. So there were junkies, drug addicts, and dealers, and people walking about naked. And I'm just what?
Did you see that video of that girl? Some woman's walking down the street, and then this black woman is naked, and she literally just jumps pushes her bum in the women's. And then the caption was if this wasn't on video, you wouldn't have believed it happened. Yeah. That is what I imagined when this person was saying people just running down the street naked. I literally imagined people just bum rushing you literally with their bums.
Have you seen that video where it's the cartoon and it pulls down its pants and it flaps its ass in front of another cartoon?
No.
Have you not seen that? Oh my God, when I see it next, I'll send it to you. It's so funny. So we meet Christopher's mum, who said her sister and her mum all lived in the same building. So this was Martin Luther King Towers, and she had 2 sons. So, like, spoiler alert, these were projects, because it's going to come up. The day in question, so the day that we're discussing, she walked to the park with Christopher. There's no mention of where the other
Christopher is a kid. Christopher is a 2-year-old child.
Oh yes, that would have helped.
Yeah, Christopher is a 2-year-old child. He's very cute, and his mum, called Alison, is his mum. She's 26 at the time.
Yeah,
she has 2 kids. So his brother Levon, who's 3, and so she has 2 children under the age of 5, and she's 26 years old.
Well,
that bit floored me, because I was like,
yeah, no, but Americans are fast though, so I wasn't surprised.
But how, Sway?
What were you doing at 21? Popping babies. That's how. So her sister also goes to the park with them because she has a kid. And the park is crowded because it's so hot. And sometimes you're like, it's just the perfect recipe for everything that happened. Yeah. It was literally the perfect recipe.
The stars were aligned for like Tuesday.
Literally. So she said it was quite normal practice for the kids to be playing, and then they leave them to go to the shop to buy them snacks. And I can understand that, because for those who don't know, because everyone thinks I'm bougie, I actually, for the first 7 years of my life, grew up in Hackney. And
she's down to earth.
Guys, I'm
before the gentrification.
I'm one of the man them.
Oh my god.
Sometimes we talk about how different I would have been if we had stayed in Hackney. I think I would have had somehow 4 kids with 5 baby daddies.
Do you think? Somehow. I don't know. I kind of feel like you would have been the way that you are. I think it's in you, this bourgeois. Maybe it wouldn't have made sense because of the environment you would have been in, but I think you would have been like Tony from Fresno.
I don't know though, because the people around me, I mean, from what I can remember, they were doing their thing.
Yeah, fair.
So, I don't know.
I guess we'll never know.
But I understand the environment, because basically where we lived, this block of flats, in the middle there was this, it was just a green patch with a bench and stuff. But in the summer, all of us kids would play there. And I remember my parents never came down to watch me, because it was such a community vibe. There were people, the woman who lived 2 doors or 2 2 stairs down. Okay, that's the best I can come up with.
Floors.
She would babysit me and take me to school and stuff. So it was very community. So I understand the vibe of you leave them there because somebody's gonna watch your kid. Nobody's
and
gonna
also
let something happen.
It's like all of us group chat go into the park with our kids, and maybe me and you go to the shop, but everyone else is still kind of there with their kids. So it's kind of listen, I'm just popping to the shop, keep an eye out on whoever.
Exactly.
On the kids. So I don't think that's abnormal.
But on this particular day, they actually left the kids with the mum, so the grandma, and the mum, their grandma was watching them. So when she comes back, normal thing, she's like, oh, where's Christopher? Because she's bought him snacks. She can't find him. And I can imagine, how this went. You come, where's Christopher? Oh, he's probably hiding. You do a quick search thinking, yeah, you're going to find him. You call his name. And then the panic just starts to build.
I feel like it's a snowball effect of, where is my child? Where is my child?
Yeah. Yeah. And his aunt was it was just 1 minute he was there and the next he wasn't. And it's just how do people vanish into thin air? And kidnapping a kid is the worst, because they can't even articulate. He will not remember that he was kidnapped. Mm-hmm. He will not even know. So he'll cry maybe for his mum for the first 2 weeks, and then he will adapt to whatever environment he's in.
Exactly. And I think that the whole mum going to the shop thing and leaving the kid with the thing, as much as we've spoken about it, is so irrelevant, because there should have just been somebody not kidnapping people, little kids. There should have just not been that. So people shouldn't come and look at the mum oh, but how could you, or why would you? Why would you kidnap a child is the thing. Yeah,
that is the question here. So we're told that police officers rushed to the scene, and I put this in quotations because the police officer that was telling us this was white, and this was the 80s, and I highly doubt they rushed to any scene when a black kid was missing.
Maybe they didn't know the kid was black at the time that they rushed.
Child, they would have known, because there would have been an APB and all whatnot. So, and the location would have told them. So what we're told is they knocked on doors and did building by building search, looking for any indications of struggle or violence, blood.
Bearing in mind, there's hella blocks.
Yeah,
it's kind of like it's like uni accommodation, right? There's like hella
blocks. Like there were 10 towers with 14 floors and hundreds of apartments. So how much manpower? How do you do this in a timely manner? There's no way.
And it's just like I mean, I want to believe, and I do feel like they were trying their best and doing like the best, but it's almost like some of it is a little bit performative, because what are you hoping to, I mean, and I guess they could have found the kid that way, but chances are they're not around no more. Like wherever they've taken the kid to, they've taken them. So
why would they take them to the very block that he lives in?
Right, but then also, do you remember that episode of Scandal? I remember the scene so clearly. I say clearly. I just remember how it made me feel. So basically, what's her name? Olivia was basically kidnapped. So they go into her apartment.
Oh, I remember the scene. Her like, I didn't watch the episode, but I remember the memes from it.
Oh, yeah. So basically she's kidnapped and they like drag her away, and then like Jake is looking for her, right? So then they come out, he runs out the building, and then like the car like speeds off. And so you think, and then Jake goes chasing the car. You think that Olivia's been put in the car and like driven away to wherever she's been kidnapped. But really, they've just kidnapped her and taken her to the apartment not across the road, but across the corridor from her.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Literally, so she's there the whole time, but Jake is on some wild goose chase trying to like, I think it's
look for the car.
Yeah, look for the car. And it just reminded me of that, where it's like, you know what, maybe we assumed that they would just take the baby somewhere else, but maybe they just kept the baby,
close
you know what I mean? And
yeah.
that's why I guess it made sense for them to look around and think. But yeah, Scandal, great show. Well, it was great till it wasn't.
So obviously they get search dogs, they get divers, they get helicopters. The search dogs do pick up a scent for a couple of blocks, but then they lose it, which always happens.
Yeah, and it's like, how do they even know that they, like, how do they even have that scent? Like, how strong is the baby scent that they can?
But these are trained dogs, so they're trained. I don't know the science behind it.
Yeah, right. I just want to. I'm not saying it's not a thing. I don't understand how it works.
This has just made me think that I should start smelling of stockfish. So if I ever get like kidnapped, people will know where I've been at.
Or you just have a fragrance that we're like, oh, Florence, she's been here.
That is her. It
doesn't have to be stockfish. How'd you get to stockfish? Lord God.
Because it's a very potent smell. Like that shit is stronger than oud. So
oh my God, someone is on you.
You are gonna smell. So police start to theorize that, you know, it could be a custody issue between Christopher and, you know, Christopher's mother and father. So they get Christopher's father to come in from Florida, which of course he's in Florida, because that is Florida literally the asshole of like,
of society.
Yeah. And they interview him and he's basically like, there's no indication that he was involved. Like, he wasn't even in Christopher's life, so what's he fighting
That's what I'm saying. Why would he come out of the woodworks and now kid just suddenly wants to be a dad that bad that he's going to kidnap his kid?
Yeah, I bet he was... Okay, I was going to say something, but let me not. So we learn at the time that Christopher's mum was a drug addict. And Christopher's aunt says...
The lifestyle she was living back then had nothing to do with Choo-Choo being taken away. But people didn't see it that way. They just, you know, like they blamed the family, accused the family.
And his mum goes on to say...
I was an addict. But I love my children. I love them. And I would never hurt them. I would never do nothing to hurt them. Or anything.
And for me, it's very potent because, like, you hear she's an addict and there were some theories that this could be, like, something to do with a drug deal. And it's just like, yeah, she's an addict. Like, addiction is a, like, sickness. Yeah. So... And I think recently they've changed the language to say suffering from addiction or something like that.
Yeah.
Because basically, like, it's a sickness. So the same way if somebody had, like, any mental health issue or something, you're not going to come out and be like, oh, automatically, that's like, they've done something. Yeah,
And also she was, on. They make a point to say she was an addict.
Exactly.
Like, I didn't know that she was at that time still suffering from addiction.
Oh, no, she was. She does say that her lifestyle at the time...
Oh, it was at the time?
Yeah, but even though there are people who are like... And you know what? Like, addiction is so... what's the word I'm looking for? Demonized in the black community, yeah. But like, if you go to like Wall Street or any like major financial firm in the city of London, like these men are addicts as well. It's just that they're high functioning members of society, so they're forgiven.
Okay. Yeah.
And also, like, some drugs are just, as you know from, like, if you haven't watched Crack, the documentary, you should, but some drugs are just more socially acceptable. Like, why is it that almost all of us can talk about a time, or we have a memory of like going to an office party and seeing someone snort coke, but like,
right, or
the
even
person that
alcohol, or being so wasted on work drinks or whatever, like
literally coming in the next day, literally you can smell that this person is still hungover. But then like if somebody's on the road like smoking crack, it's like, ooh, dirty, this and that. So
yeah. And I just think like, what's that got to do with the fact that she, do you know what I mean? She was with her child. It's not like she was passed out, crack pipe in hand, and then her kid wandered off and someone took it. Like, she literally was actively there with her child, taking her kid to the park, went to get him snack. Literally, like, she was being a very active mother, even through suffering with addiction. So like, I just like, come on. And it's like, even if she was like, that's not if somebody had taken her child, even if she was passed out and someone has taken her child, it's the person who's taken her child that is the problem, right? Right. Because not everyone comes across an abandoned child, not that he was, and thinks, oh, let me take this kid. So let's assign blame where it should be.
There's a lot of hateration and holleration
in the dancery, man, honestly.
So, I mean, that case pretty much dies down. There's nothing like they find, and it goes cold. And then 3 months later, another black woman's son gets taken, and we meet Rosa. So Rosa's the mother of Shane, and this is so sad. Rosa says she was 35 when she had Shane, and she thought she couldn't have kids, so he was a miracle. Right. And like, even in today's like standard, like obviously people are having kids later and stuff like that, but if you're someone who actively wants to have kids, you probably would be trying before you turn 35. So I can only imagine that she was like, oh my gosh, like this baby actually came.
Yeah, she's probably given up, and she's like, my miracle child.
This is the one. Like, she probably just had one drunken night and she was like, oh, she could have had a boyfriend, I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, it was probably like, whoa, I'm actually pregnant. And she was basically saying that if she had known there were any issues with this park, she wouldn't have taken a kid to that park, but she didn't know, so they weren't putting it out there in the neighborhood, which lends me to believe that or leads me rather to believe that the police officers weren't doing as good of a job as they say they were. And the funny thing about police footage when they're searching for someone is you never actually know if that's footage from the case or if it's just another case. Yeah. So she said once she got to the park, this case was a bit weird, and I'll talk about
can I say one thing that's also I thought was really, really sad that she says in this bit? So basically, Shane is he's, I say 18 months, you know, when parents talk in months. So he's not 2 years old yet. And she has this point, and she was like, she was always going to cut his hair when he turned 2. Like, his hair is really, really long. And she's like, when he turned 2, you know, she was going to cut his hair. And she's just saying how she just never got the chance to do that because he got taken when he was 18 months. And it's just so sad. Like, just the little things, you're just like, she only had him for that short amount of time. Like, so sad.
I don't know how people do it. I had this conversation with my sister and my mum, and I was like, I'd rather... It's tough to say, because obviously if someone's missing, there's a chance they could be alive, right? But I think I'd rather my knowing that my loved one was dead and what happened.
Yeah, and I think even if they are alive, it's like you still have missed all that time. So even if you find them and they're like 40 or whatever, it's like you still weren't there. But then I guess that does then also mean you still then have the chance to be there in the future, like for the rest of their life.
Well, we'll talk about that. Yeah. So this one was weird. 2 kids, she goes to the park and these 2 kids are bothering her like to play with her kid. Yeah. Which is like fucking weird. Like, in fact, that would make me leave the park, because why are you so obsessed with my son? So eventually she gives in and she lets them play. And then this man comes and sits next to her, and she looks at him for a split second and then looks back, and her kid's gone. So she starts, again, it's the snowball effect. She starts looking for him, calling his name, blah, blah, blah. She can't find him. She walks around, like, she runs around the park looking for him. And then she sees the 2 kids walking towards her. So from what she described, it looks like the kids had left the park and were walking, like, in her direction. So she's like, where is my son? Like, what have you done with him? And they were like, yeah, we left him in the park. Like, he should be there. And she was like, well, if you left him in the park, he's not there.
Then where is he? Yeah.
So Shane's mum is just saying that she thinks it was like a setup, like the 2 kids and the kidnapper had something to do with each other. But the police say they checked the parents and nothing comes up. They checked the guy as well. Nothing
came they even interviewed the kids. Nothing.
Yeah.
And it's so weird because this all happened at similar times. Do you get what I mean? It was both on a Thursday, both busy park times. Like,
yeah. So one talking head says, obviously, the worst case scenario is a paedophile or a serial killer within the community. But there were a lot of conversations around about the infants being sold. And the way the cop says this is very off to me. He basically says, like, and I'm just gonna, like, what's the word when you don't say verbatim? Paraphrase. He says the possibility of black infants being sold was explored, but it just wasn't, like, it just wasn't evident. And there's something about the way he says it. For me, it's kind of like me coming to you and saying to you, I think somebody has kidnapped my son and possibly sold him, like, in the black market. And you're like, who would want to buy a black kid?
So even when they were saying, their babies, the black babies are being sold, because it was going around the community, people are saying that. Even me, I was thinking, black babies? Like, who's buying black babies on the black market?
Fair enough.
Because think about it, who's buying black babies on the black market? That was my first thought. I was like, there's no way they're selling these babies.
But there are a lot of people that actually do. Like, there are people who may either, like, be in, I mean, obviously it was the 80s, so things were different, but there are people from the South who might have money, who would pay people from abroad, like, rich Africans.
That's true.
So either way, like,
I mean, I think that as a cop, your job is to explore all possibilities,
all the options,
and not shut down that, like, oh, this is a possibility or not. But, like, I too was like, fam, who's buying these black and babies?
Also, like, people are, do you know, like, I was watching that like Sex Explained. It's on Netflix. You guys should definitely watch it if you haven't. It's a really good documentary. Like, they have a series called Explained where they explain different things, but there's a Sex Explained
I think
series.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's narrated by Janelle Monáe. It's really, really good. And there's this couple on it, and they're talking about, like, their fertility, like, journey. And basically, they were trying for months, couldn't get pregnant, years actually. And then they basically go and do, like, some test, and they find out that, like, her husband only had, like, one live sperm in his ball sack. I don't know what that meant. I don't know if he was coming. Yeah, I don't know if he was coming and it was just, there was nothing in the cum, or I don't know if it was that the others were dead. I don't know what it was, but there was basically only one viable sperm in his whole
whatever.
Like, yeah. Like, I don't know about ever, but at the time when they were trying,
they did the thing, right? Okay, so maybe sperm count was low or whatever.
No, it wasn't low. It was like non-existent. Yeah, like when they say shooting blanks, that was blanks.
Right.
Okay, cool. So they're like, okay, fuck. The surgery that they needed to do, so they tried a surgery to, like, extract it. It didn't work. So then there was another surgery that they needed to do that was like $30,000. And you know how shit in America is. Mm-hmm. And basically they were just saying how they're saving up for that surgery where they will extract this one sperm from his ball sack, and then they will pay in the hopes that, and then they will have to pay for IVF in the hopes that she'll get pregnant. So the reason I say all this to say is, we're sitting there and thinking, okay, who's going to buy, like, a black baby? Because you're thinking, like, the rich people of the world will be going for white babies, right? But there are people who are so desperate to have kids that even normal middle class struggling people will pay that money just to have a kid.
Yeah, do you know what? I just thought it was more so, like, my thought was that they would more so steal a black baby. Like, if I wanted a baby and I'm black, I would just steal the black baby. I just don't believe that the market or the demand for black babies would be so high. Like, and I understand that being a black victim, like, you know, people aren't really going to care as much as if you were not a black victim.
Yeah.
But then that's more so like, oh, I just wanted to kill someone and get away with it. Not like I'm gonna, like, I don't know. I agree.
I agree with you, but my whole argument is that it should have been explored.
Exactly. I agree. Look at me. I'm not the cop. The cop is supposed to be like, okay, cool. Do you know what? Fine. 100%. Loads of people are saying this. This might be something to explore. Not just like black baby. No one wants that nigga baby.
No one's that pickney.
Yeah, literally.
Flipping. Yeah. Cool. So, one talking head says that she believes that the babies are still alive. Obviously, they'll be adults now, and they were taken by someone who can't have kids. So we learn in New York in 1987, and obviously the reason why this is even a possibility is in 1987, which was 2 years before these kids were taken, Carlina White was taken by a fake nurse from hospital. So she was born a few days before. I remember this story. She was born a few days before. Her mum brought her to hospital because she was feeling well. She had, like, a temperature. They met this nurse in the waiting room who took the baby from them, and they never saw their kid again. So she was raised as Nettie Nance, which is such a weird name. And then the reason she found out... The reason she found out that she always suspected, which, how do you suspect?
How did she suspect?
I mean, I don't know, but they didn't say that. But they just said that she always suspected. Like, I think she said she didn't look like her parents or whatever. But there are people I see that genuinely don't look like their parents.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know, like, I'm
maybe
like a
they too
carbon
were
copy.
stolen.
Yeah, I know I'm like a carbon copy of my mum, but when I was younger, I used to think I was adopted, like, especially because of the colour difference. I was like, this shit don't make sense.
Your mum's face, especially that picture, that's your WhatsApp picture now. I literally was like, did you put on fake tan or what is it? Like,
everyone keeps saying that.
And the thing is, because
messages.
you did her makeup, it's like you did her makeup the way you do your makeup. So it literally, it's like you just put, basically in Drag Race, yeah, they have like a makeover challenge where, like, say I'm competing and you're like my best friend or my family or whatever, then you would come in and I would have to make you up so we would look like a family resemblance.
Yeah.
And it literally looks like that's what you did. Like, you literally painted her face the way that you paint your face, even as much as the cheeks and the contour and the. I said. I said it out on my left. Literally, I was like, you painted yourself.
Do you know, that's so funny about what you said about makeup, though. And I guess therein lies the beauty of being a makeup artist, because, like, when I think of the girl who does my makeup regularly, each of her clients looks different in the sense that, like, she's painted them in a way that accentuates their features. Yeah, but then
it's another mark of a good makeup artist.
Fam, I just did my mum to be like, here, bitch, you gonna look like me today.
This is what I do for me. This is what I'm gonna do for you. Take it or leave it.
One size fits all.
But then also your face. I think the reason it stands out more is because, like, it just, like, I've always thought that, okay, cool, you look like your mum, yeah. But, like, when I saw your picture, I was like, nah, like, you actually look like your mum. She even looks like you, is what the picture was like. It's like she actually looks like you.
Do you know, sometimes I do see it when I look at pictures, or if I look at my face, like, I'll be like, oh, right, you really look like your mum, like mummy. But on an everyday basis, I don't like. And do you know who I fucking really look like? My granddad. So
yes, you do. It's the roundness of the head as well.
I remember in boarding school, someone came to us like, oh, I think your granddad's here. And I was like, oh, like, why? And they're like, there's just this old man that looks exactly like you. And I was like, oh, it cannot be that bad. It can't be. And then the second time was my grandpa's friend came to school to see his grandkid and then saw my granddad with me. And then he was like, oh, like, surely you can't be still having kids at your age.
That's so funny.
He's like, you cannot be in the business of. And then my grandpa was like, no, this is my grandkid. And the man was laughing. He was like, I really thought she was your daughter because you people look exactly the same.
That's so wild.
I was like, bruh.
Them genes are strong. Maybe your genes will win after all, boy.
I pray because my mum's side of the family, they all look the same. Like, she looks all her cousins, they all look, and even like second cousins, like my grandpa's first cousins' kids, they look exactly the same as my mum and her siblings.
Yeah, because there's hope yet.
Listen, I stay prayed up. So yeah, back to, I don't even know how we got here. So Nettie Nance.
Because Carlina was saying she doesn't look like her family.
Yeah, Nettie Nance did not have what I have, which is familial DNA or features. So she always felt like she wasn't whatever, but she probably thought she was adopted. But the reason she found out she was kidnapped was because she got pregnant and she needed to get some medical insurance, but she needed a valid birth certificate. So she provided what she thought was a valid birth certificate, and the doctor was like, yeah, bro, this ain't valid.
Wild.
And then she started looking online, which would never, like, cross my mind to be like, oh, let me
see if I was stolen.
Yeah, but
would you even type in missing baby?
Literally, she starts looking online, and then the picture she finds of her as a baby looks exactly like the kid she's just had. So then she sends her DNA, and it is a match. And we see, like, pictures of her, like, with her current family and stuff like that. Now, the reason I wanted to say to you that this is heartbreaking all round is because when I heard of this case ages ago, I went to, like, Google, and, like, apparently her and her bio mum, like, her and her bio family have fallen out. Like, they just don't get along, which makes sense because you've been raised in a completely different way, completely different values. You don't have similar whatevers. And apparently, like, I think there's something about the mum trying to steal money from her, but I don't know. But yeah, this is just really to say sad. It's sad because you've lost that time. And truth be told, you can never get it back. Like, if someone walked over to me today and said to me, oh, like, a Brazilian woman, I don't know why I said Brazilian, but let's just say if a Brazilian woman, because you want that butt lift. And she was like, yeah, I'm your biological mother, and she really, really was. I'd probably have a friendship relationship with her at best, rather than I'd always still see, like,
I think
my parents is my
there's a
parents.
difference between, so for example, say again the Brazilian woman comes to me and is like, yeah, I'm your mum. Again, cool. Like if I was adopted, then maybe it's like, yeah, I mean, we can be cool. Obviously, you brought me to this earth. But if the person I thought was my biological mum stole me, it's like now it's almost worse because you're estranged from both. Like I can never be mad cool with you, new Brazilian mum, but like now the person I thought was my mum, you actually are mad. You're a thief and you've been lying to me my whole life. And these things always happen, even when like paternity is questioned. It's always some like seemingly simplistic, like innocuous, is that the word? Harmless thing that, you know, brings people to, because I think there was one similar story, well, not similar really, but she basically, her dad wasn't her dad, and her dad wasn't her dad, and then like had some biological, you know, biology class, and they were talking about like blood type or whatever, or like genetics, and she came to basically say what her thingies was, and they were like, this doesn't make sense, this cannot be your father, like it just cannot be scientifically right. And that's how she found out that her dad wasn't her dad. So it's like these things, it's just wild. Imagine you just send your child to school and they come back and say you're not my parent, or like, do you know what I mean? It's just,
it's crazy.
You'll be lying your whole life. Like imagine how much you just, because you don't think about it long term. You still this baby. Okay, now what? When is the baby's even birthday? Like when do you tell the baby that the birthday?
The day you stole it.
You just you trust me. Like it's just so wild. Like it just must really fuck you up mentally.
Yeah. So as for Christopher and Shane, we meet with someone who does age progressions, and they say they never stop looking for these kids, and they do one each year. And Shane's mum is basically saying that how there's this missing kids Christmas tree, so each year they put the new age progression on there, and they take down the tree, they send her a picture, and like on her mantelpiece she has like all these pictures of Shane like through the age progression, and it's very like, it's almost like when you walk into someone's house and they have like their kids like graduation pictures, primary school pictures, like she doesn't have that. All she has is like him growing up through and
he also looks like he age progressed into a very handsome young man, and the other one does as well. They both look fine. I was like, wow, I really hope you guys are alive, man, because it's so sad, like just how your life would just be ended anyhow, like
literally. So yeah, we've gotten to the end of the documentary now, and we see at the end some age progressions of other missing kids, and it's just wild because obviously I know that some of these kids are dead for sure, like they couldn't all be alive, but it's actually just sad to see, like, because the way they do age progressions as well, it looks like you know, like American high schools, how they take their pictures.
Yeah.
It looks exactly the same as that. So it literally looks like these kids had probably gone to school, taken pictures, and brought them home to their parents.
They look
they're
so
growing up.
real, and it's like even when you look at the way they, because I think that, I mean, the technology must have improved a lot, like over time. But like it literally looks like this could be this kid. Like if this person was like a real person, like alive, and you saw them and you saw the baby picture, you'd be like, oh, look how cute he looks as a baby. Like it makes sense. Like what I want to do is like give them a baby picture of me without having seen me, and be like, okay, age progress this picture, and then
I'd love
see
to do that.
what it looks like compared to what you look like now. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously you can do that because you're alive and we know where you are.
Yeah.
Then it'd be kind of good to kind of see the accuracy of that.
The Nettie Nance one was quite accurate. It did look like her.
Oh, when they age progressed it.
Yeah, they showed the age progression. It looked like her. But what I will say is, for me, in terms of theories, these kids are definitely alive. I believe that they are... I believe they were taken by the same people who needed kids. So what really police should have been doing is looking for people who had like either
who suddenly had a baby, right?
Either suddenly had a baby or a family tragedy. I'm thinking like this person had two sons who were involved in some sort of accident, possibly
Oh, do you think they're together?
Yes, I think they're together because what are the odds of two boys being taken similar in age from the same playground? I think they're together.
But then wouldn't that be easier then to kind of pinpoint, because your neighbour turns up with like two babies all of a sudden? Like, isn't that
that's why I'm saying they should have been looking for people who recently had like a tragedy. Like I'm thinking two sons who were killed in like a car crash. And like maybe people didn't know, or a drowning, or just something. Like there's all these cases where people don't even know that like the person's been the kids are dead, as
Yeah.
well. Like,
And it's
say,
like
for
what you were
example,
saying before, like at 2 years old, I don't remember anything. I don't remember anything from being a child. Like I don't even know what my earliest memory was, but I was
yeah.
probably 11. Like I literally I don't remember anything. So I could very much be taken at 2 years old and be like, okay, cool, well, this is my new brother and this is my
I only
new
remember
life.
one thing from being 3. And it's very strange that I remember that. That's the only thing I remember.
3, I don't remember
But
anything.
literally, I have one memory of when I was 3. And I mean, actually, I tell a lie because I remember a lot of growing up in Hackney, and I remember like Christmases. I remember like I never used to want to eat my food. I wish I had that problem now. And like my dad would like eat the food and then tell me to go and tell my mum that I've eaten it.
Ugh, I used to hide my food. I used to
Where?
I had many tricks. I used to like hide it in like a tissue, and then I would like throw the tissue away with the food and be like, I'd finish it. And like my sister would always finish her food first, and they'd be like, oh, well done. Then they'd be looking at me like, look at you. You still haven't finished. And so then it like,
This is why you weren't filling out them trousers.
yeah,
You know
honestly,
the ones I'm talking about.
oh my God. No, do you know, it's so funny because like I've gone full circle. Now I love me a wide leg. Like, I've got
That is
I've
my
that
absolute
picture.
favourite picture of you.
Oh,
like,
maybe I'll frame it for
honestly.
you. Maybe I'll just give you that one. Fuck it.
You
Nice and
frame
big.
it for me. I
take it
love
to
it. I
Dubai.
need to take it to Dubai. Literally take it to Dubai. That is my absolute favourite picture of you. Fuck all these other selfies and shit. That one is the one.
It's actually tragic.
But,
Wow, those sketches as well. Lord God.
And it was the leg up. It was just the leg up.
Oh, leg over.
Guys, I wish you could see this. I've been begging her to let us,
No, so that I actually tarnish my image. Lord God, I'm a
Oh,
bad
God.
bitch. Bad beefing it is.
But what are your theories?
Yes, I just thought that they had been stolen. I thought that, you know, I never put 2 and 2 together and thought that they were together. I just thought that they're both stolen. I think they're both alive. But then I think they're both alive. But then I'm like, when this show came out, surely that is a chance to kind of be like, whoa, you look a bit like...
Yeah, but there's so many factors in this to say, well, first of all, it's the reach. I'm not saying that Netflix doesn't have a big reach, but you'd
But
have to be
who
in
would they
like
have to
true
see it?
crime, exactly, to be interested in this.
But it just
And
takes
then-
one person to see it. Because if, say, for example, I lived anywhere in America, or wherever these people might be, and like I work with someone that looks like this, I'd be like, oh, I watched this documentary, and you look like... It literally just takes one thing,
Yeah, it
one
does.
flap of a butterfly's wing for it
Yeah.
to all kind of, you know...
Yeah,
And but then I
100%
just think
does.
to myself, like, kidnapping a child just to kill them, like, it's very... I'm not saying people don't do it, but it just seems very sadistic, wasteful, dumb. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you're going to kidnap a child, it's because you want to keep the child. And even if you're going to abuse a child, they don't necessarily always kill kids afterwards. Like, the fact that they were young and they were so young and, like, boys, maybe... I really do think that someone just took them and was like, yeah.
I do. I think they're together. I think someone took them. I think police should have been looking for like people who had like recent... But to be honest, they could have kidnapped them and moved. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that people wouldn't notice. But I do think...
Or legit,
that's
they
what
could have
should
sold them and it could have been someone ages far away in another country.
100%, but those boys are alive. And also this thing is so wild because if I was watching like a show and people came to me like, oh, you look like this person, I'd just be like, yeah, like, okay, cool, maybe, but it's definitely not me because it's such a wild thought that your parents kidnapped
It is
you.
a wild thought, but even that Carlina White netty person, yeah, was like, oh, weird. Like, sometimes I feel like there's certain points, say someone points that out to you, there's like certain points, like red flags along the way. You've been like, oh, maybe that's why this, maybe that's why this, maybe that's why this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Along the way, it's not all going to be hunky-dory. Like, literally, you don't have a birth certificate. Like, you don't have a birth certificate. Like your vaccinations, where are your vaccinations?
Where are they?
Like,
you would be riddled with polio. Like,
honestly, there's so many factors. Like, so yeah, I don't know, but I really hope that they are found.
Me too. I did try to Google. There's not much on there other than they're still looking for them, and if you know anything, so they're
so
very much
sad.
missing kids. But yeah, that's us done. What we doing next
So
week?
sad. Yeah, that's spooky season done. So before spooky season, we did the Piers Morgan psychopath episode about Paris Bennett. And we were complaining in that episode that they didn't really tell us much about the case or what happened or anything like that. So we found a documentary that does that so that we can do that. So that is what we're going to do. It's a YouTube documentary, so I'm going to give it a title because the title of the video is literally like Paris Bennett kills sister or something like that. So I'm going to give it a name.
We should just name it that.
I'm going to, but it's not the name of a documentary. It just sounds dead. I'm going to also play a trailer for it. Just a reminder, guys, our upload day is now going to be Sundays. So this episode that I'm speaking about is not going to come out on next Thursday is going to come out on Sunday instead. Okay. Yeah. In the meantime, between time, you can find us everywhere at 2girls1doc. TikTok is at 2girls1doc podcast. You can email us at 2girls1doc@gmail.com. Send us your reviews, your requests, your thoughts, your feelings, and if we have enough reviews, we will do a credit on it. We can find Forens with 2 underscores on Twitter and Instagram, and also her other podcast, Character Replay. And I know you're tired and you're not feeling well, so I thought I would just do that.
Yeah, guys, I'm not feeling well. I soldiered through.
You soldiered through. What's wrong with you? Are you sick?
I had my jab yesterday, and now I'm getting
the booster jab.
The fever and everything.
Really?
Yeah, I'm very sensitive to those things, though.
That's crazy.
Even when I get shots before I go to Nigeria, I get really ill.
When you had the first one, did you have symptoms?
Yep.
What about the second one?
The second one I was just really tired and achy, but the first one, it felt like the day I had COVID.
Yeah, first one I had, I was finished. I was written off.
Yeah.
Second one was fine, and then my booster was fine as well. My booster, they gave me Pfizer.
They gave me Pfizer too.
Yeah, but my other one was AstraZeneca. So basically, I had it. Basically, do you know what happened? No, let me even tell this story, yeah, because I think I messaged you.
And I got my flu jab on the same day, so I have hella vaccines mixing in my body.
Your blood is really doing a party, boy. But I had this Igbo uncle, yeah. And so then he deeped that I was Nigerian, and I was like, he was like, are you Igbo? I was like, no, but my mum is Igbo. And he was like, he started talking about Biafra, as they always do, yeah. Anyway, so then I was like, I had AstraZeneca before. And he was like, I don't know if we have any AstraZeneca left. Let me go and check. So he went, and then he came back, and then he did the thing. So I was thinking, okay, cool, Astra. Then I get home and I look at my card and it says Pfizer. And I was like, wait, not this mix and match. So I called them and I was like, hey, I don't know if you guys are trying to kill me, but you've given me. And you can tell she gets this question all the time because the pharmacist was like, yeah, so studies indicate and the studies have shown that, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, it's fine.
Because apparently the Pfizer is better for the strain that's going around now.
Yeah, I was like, fam, you want to do mix and match with my blood? Fine, do your thing.
Some hella cocktails up in here.
Literally, at that point, I was like, well, if it was going to happen, it's going to happen. But yeah, I was actually fine. It's strange.
But yeah, guys,
anyway, go and sleep. I need to eat. I'm so hungry. My tummy's been doing chaka this whole time.
Girl. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.
I'm the sweetest baby in the world. A single parent of 2 children. I remember being like, oh my God, you can love 2 people this much? Just how is it even possible? I mean, I loved my children fiercely.
Another mother of 2 children was about to start her shift as an Abilene police detective. Super Bowl Sunday, all you're expecting is a little drunken disorderlies.
Yeah.
So when the phone rang, you're expecting something like that.
Probably, some criminal mischief.
Retired officer Debbie Glenn remembers what turned out to be the most devastating case of her career.
Abilene 911.
Hello?
Abilene 911, go ahead.
I was hallucinating.
You were hallucinating?
Yes. I woke up and I thought she was a demon and I killed her.
Did anybody warn you when you were getting ready to enter the house about what it was in there?
It's just all bloody.
Haunting for you, haunting for the cops, haunting for the mother.
Yep.
But in one of the bizarre twists here, it doesn't seem to be haunting for the person who did it.
No.